السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعين به ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الغمة وجاهد في سبيل الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين، ونحن على ذلك من الشهيدين. أما بعد، جزاكم الله خير, my dear respected brothers and sisters. Inshallah, bidnillah ta'ala, we're going to be starting a new series today, which the name of the series is Common Sense and Their Cure. Common Sense and Their Cure. And it's important, brothers and sisters, that we tackle these main issues from time to time and know that many people are committing, and all of us are committing some of these sins, and it's important for us to address these sins. And one of the things that many people tend to undermine, and we have to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and constantly try to elevate ourselves. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu taqullaha haqqa tuqatih wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. Oh, you believe, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way he should be feared. And many of these sins people tend to neglect, and some of these sins can be a real disease that has inflicted many people. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لِكُلِّ دَاءٍ دَوَاء. There is each and every disease, whether it's spiritual or physical, there is a cure. There is a cure for that illness, or there is a cure for that disease, and there is a cure for that sickness. And it's important, brothers and sisters, for us to know how to tackle these sins. It's important not only to say, Wallahi, you are committing the sin, and then khalas, stop. It's important for us to know that how these sins are committed, why they are haram, and how to cure ourselves from them. What are the causes of these sins? And of course, many people could have different types of problem. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, actually, he's the very first person who have taught us how to address and how to cure some of these. For instance, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, for instance, when somebody is upset, when somebody is have ghadab or is upset, he said, إذا غضب أحدكم وهو جالس وهو قائم فليجلس. If some of you became angry while he was standing, let him sit down. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he taught us, when someone, he found himself to have pride, he said, for instance, he said, الدعاء اللهم إني أعوذ بك من أن أشرك بك شيئا وأنا أعلم وأستغفرك لما لا أعلم. That, oh Allah, I seek refuge from you that I associate anything with you while I know, and I seek refuge, I seek your forgiveness for things I do not know. So, brothers and sisters, Prophet Muhammad has told us how to cure some of these sins, and it's important for us to take them one sin at a time. So, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, we're gonna be starting with I would say one of the most common sins, which is the easiest that the tongue would say, which is backbiting, al-ghiba. Now, what is al-ghiba? What is al-ghiba? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam once asked the Sahaba this question: "Atadruna mal ghiba?" Do you know what is backbiting is? They said, "Allahu wa rasuluhu a'lam." And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His Prophet, would know. They said, "Dhikruka akhahu bima yakrah." That you say something about your brother, for a sister to say something about her behind their sister, while she hates or something that they dislike. So if I say something about a brother, or someone says something about a sister that she does not like, this is considered to be backbiting. And they said, "Arayta in kana fi," even if this was true about him, for instance, he has this faults, he have this characteristics. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "In kana fihi bima taqul faqad ikhtabta." If whatever you say about him was true, then you have committed ghiba. وإن لم يكن فيه فقد بهت. And if you say something about him that is not true, then you have lied in his behalf, which is even worse. So brothers and sisters, ghiba is considered to be one of the greatest illness that many people tend to commit without even thinking twice about it. And unfortunately, ghiba have a very disastrous effect, and which we're going to be talking about this bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. that, and by definition is anytime you talk about your brother, anytime you talk about your sister of something that you dislike, then it's considered to be a ghiba. And this is not necessarily words that comes out of your mouth. It's not necessarily words that comes out of your mouth. It could be, for instance, the way you look, the way you point, the way you but possibly indirectly say something about an individual. So it's important for us to recognize it's not just ghiba as just words comes out of your mouth. And we're going to be talking about this in a bit بإذن ta'ala. Imam al-Ghazali, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with him, he said that there are several reasons why people make backbiting. And he mentioned about seven of them. Okay. So what are the reasons? Because thing is, once we know the reasons of why people backbite, we're able to diagnose and see the core of the problem of why people do it. So he said there are seven causes. What are the seven causes why people make backbiting? He said number one, he said someone might have like a hate another individual. He dislike him. So because he dislike him, so what he does, he make riba about him. You know, uh, because he feel that he doesn't like him for one reason or another. So how could he unreveal that is through riba. So that's number one. Second reason, maybe because you want to be nice to everyone. Some people like when sometime when you are in a gathering and people making riba left and right, and you want to be like nice with all the people who are sitting, so you go along with them and you make riba. That's the second reason. Third reason, um, that you have bad doubts about the individual. Like for instance, ظن السوء, that you have you don't think the individual is good, you know, and or you have doubts about him. So how do this comes about? Is by making riba, and again, this is very common. A fourth reason, a way, and this is purely psychological, and I think many people would agree. Many people would agree with me, is that the way we would make ourselves innocent of any faults is that we make riba of other people. So it's a way for us to elevate ourselves. So it's how you would you elevate yourself is by what? Putting down others. And how would you put down others? By talking negative about them. By talking negative about them. So this is the fourth reason. Uh, Again, another reason is that you wanted to elevate yourself. You want to think. You want to boost yourself. That's the fifth reason. He said, "رفع النفس وتزكيتها." That you want to boost yourself and you want to make yourself look better in front of everyone. How would you go about doing that? By making riba. The sixth reason is because you envy other people. You don't like good things to happen to them. So how would you go about doing that? By making riba. Another final reason, and I think this is one of the most common reasons why people make riba, is people want to make fun of other people. And the day where people mock at other people in all sort of forms, verbally, and sometimes could reach the level of abuse, is how people would make mock and make fun of other people is through riba. You know, so brothers and sisters, at the end of the day, if you notice, the majority of these issues is not necessarily it's things that it's sicknesses that people have. It's not necessarily something wrong with the other individual. No, it's not necessarily something wrong with the other individual. No, it's people purely sicknesses that someone have. Someone to make want to make himself, and someone want to make fun of other people. Someone who want to look himself better. Someone who want to belittle people. Someone who wants to, he doubts of other people. Someone who he want to make the gathering nice, and he does not want to look abnormal among his peers. He would mock at other people. He hates other people. He envies other people. So at the end of the day, it's not necessarily something wrong with that individual. It's because of heartly disease that some people tend to have. Okay, so this is something that we have to keep in mind of why people make riba. Okay, now understand, brothers and sisters, that if we look at the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and some of the verses of the Quran, you know, that it talks of the disastrous effect of someone making riba. For instance, do you know the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam one time was walking beside a graveyard and he heard people being punished, and then what did he tell the Sahaba? He said, إنهما يعذبان وما يعذبان بكبير. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is punishing these two graves, the owners of these two graves, and they're not committing something huge. He said, إما أحدهم فيعذب في البول وأما الآخر فيعذب بالغيبة. He said, the first person, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is punishing him? Because when he used to go to the restroom, he used to not to clean after himself. And the other one, which shows the importance of cleansing in Islam. And the other one, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is punishing him, is why? Because of the fact that he used to go make riba about other people. Like they're being punished constantly in their graves. Why? Because of how disastrous that can be. And sometimes the riba, brothers and sisters, can elevate to itself, that could be a branch of riba. So we know that riba, when someone deals with interest in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have equated with fighting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For those who deal with riba, is as if they are fighting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he said, "Al-riba ithnan wa sab'una baban." That riba is 72 doors. أدناهما مثل إتيان الرجل أمه. The least of the riba is when someone sleep with his mom. والعياذ بالله. وإن الربا أربى الربا, the highest form of riba, استطالة الرجل على عرض أخيه. That someone talks about the honor of his own brother. Riba. The highest form of riba. Look at this. The highest form of riba is that when someone talk about the honor of his own brother. And how many people, brothers and sisters, they belittle talking about the honor of other talk about the sister of this person or the wife of this person, their honor. And they say, oh, she might have committed this, and she have what's your evidence? Who are you to talk about their honor like this? This is considered to be the highest form of riba. He's as imagine as if someone is fighting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wal billah. So brothers and sisters, this is something huge in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That this should be something, one of the biggest deterrent for someone to hold their mouth and not to, say and open their mouth about this, willy-nilly. This is very, very important, brothers and sisters. Okay, and this is one of the ways also, according to Hassan al-Basri, making riba is one of the ways to destroy your good deeds. Hassan al-Basri, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is what he said. He said, والله للغيبة أسرع في دين الرجل من الأكلة في جسده. He said that that when someone make riba, it's quicker than the riba would eat away the good deeds of an individual so quickly. It's like eating fire, the fire eating the wood. So brothers, this is something, it's extremely disastrous, that when you backbite and talk about other people, and actually, according to many scholars, the hadith I'm going to narrate now considered to be the most scariest hadith about riba, about riba. One time, Aisha radiallahu anha, she was describing Safiya, one of the other wives of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she said, and she did this. She was describing her, and she was not mocking. She was saying that she was short. What Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. So again, she did not say anything, but this could be with what? With a signal. He said, لقد قلت كلمة لو مزجت بماء البحر لمزجته. Oh Aisha, you have done something that if you mix it with the sea, it would change its color. It would change its color. So brothers and sisters, look at this. This is, imagine يعني one of the greatest يعني or the biggest creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the seas and the oceans. And this thing can change the color of the whole ocean. In which that some people can يعني Imam Nawawi Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said وهذا حديث من أعظم الزواجر عن الغيبة. That Imam Nawawi says that this is one of the worst hadith that one of the biggest deterrent for someone to not to make ghiba. And this is something for us to think about, brothers and sisters. Not yeah, to watch the things that comes out of our mouth and make sure that we fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know. And subhanallah, yani, whether we like it or not, when someone does ghiba, he is not looking at his faults. يعني, Rubai' ibn al-Khaytham, he said, people were asking him that they noticed that he does not talk about other people. He said, don't you talk about other people? He said the following. He said, والله ما أنا عن نفسي براض فأذم الناس وإن الناس خافوا الله وإن الناس خافوا الله على ذنوب الناس وأمنوه على ذنوبهم. He said, I am not better than people who talk about other people. But if people fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they would focus into themselves and they would not talk about other people. And this is 100% true. If people feared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they would think about other people's faults and they neglect their own mistakes. And that's what's happening nowadays. People talk about this guy's mistakes and this person's mistake, and yeah, like they are angels, you know, like they absolutely don't have any mistakes. And subhanallah, كما تدين تدان. يعني sometimes when you talk about other people might talk about you too, you know. عون بن عبد الله he once said, he said, ما أحسب أحدا تفرغ لعيب الناس إلا من غفل إلا من غفل عن نفسه. He said, I have not seen people who talk about other people unless they have not seen the faults of their own. That again shows the fact that this is a common practice of people who does not they don't see they see themselves as angels and they always talk about others, and kind of, you know, the same reasons that we talked about in the beginning. And subhanallah, and this is what the Sahaba have warned against. The Sahaba, يعني عائشة رضي الله عنها once said, يتوضأ أحدكم من الطعام الطيب ولا يتوضأ من الكلمة الخبيثة يقولها لأخيه. Some of you, they make wudu after they eat. They cleanse themselves after they're dirty, but they don't clean their tongue after they have said something bad about their own brother. You know, they don't talk about, and again, brothers and sisters, sometimes the scholars have said that there is a silent riba. What's a silent riba? A silent riba is when people they make riba while they are making themselves innocent from it. How is that? They're making riba while they're making themselves innocent from it. How? For instance, let's say there was a gathering, right? And they mentioned a name of this individual. I said, Astaghfirullah, don't talk about him. A'udhu billah. We don't want to get ourselves in trouble. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect his mistakes and cover his mistakes. Khalas, it's enough. You don't have to mention his mistakes. You already have exposed the guy is bad, and you already exposed the fact that the guy have many mistakes. See? So they want to look innocent, yet they make it seem as if they don't want to make ghiba. And this is kind of the opposite. You don't want to say, just be quiet. Don't. It's just important for us that we hold ourselves from making such indirect way of making ghiba. And again, subhanallah, as we said before, one of the most common ways of why people make ghiba is because they want to they don't look like the sheikh, they don't want to look out of the norm. Everybody's making ghiba. They don't they don't want to be the one who says, guys, please stop, don't make ghiba. So they go along with it. Imam Sheikh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, what he said, فمن الناس من يغتاب موافقة لجلسائه وأصحابه. He said many people, they make ghiba because they want to go along of the people that they're sitting with, you know. And this is and فيرى موافقتهم من حسن المعاشرة وطيب المصالحة. They said it's better that I just go along with them, better than me standing out to make myself look bad. No, it's important that we stop and don't be involved and don't even hear it. Don't allow yourself to hear it, because sometimes, it's not sometime, when you are hearing the ghiba, you are part of the problem. Because if you are not hearing it, the person in front of you is not going to say it. So you are getting the same sin. So you tell them, stop. I don't want to hear it. Or if you continue, I will leave. You know. And Imam al-Awza'i, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, إذا سمع أحد يقع في غيره فاعلم أنه يقول أنا خير منه. Every time you hear someone talk about other person, no, this is his way of saying I am better than you. You know. And again, this is one of the ways that for your and Imam al-Awza'i, he described a scene of the hereafter. He said, in the hereafter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring the people who you have made ghiba against, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell them to take. He was said, فَخُذْ مِنْ حَقِّقِ بِنْ فُلَانٍ, take what you deserve from this from where you deserve from this person's good deeds. And he keep taking until he and it'll be enough for him. SubhanAllah, this is very important, brothers and sisters, to realize that. Now, the question here, brothers and sisters, how can I cure myself from ghiba? How can I cure myself from ghiba? Number one is for us to make tawbah. Realize that every time you do this, you are committing a huge, one of the sins that can destroy your iman and destroy your good deeds, and can be considered to be a great sin. Okay, that's number one. Also, remember, brothers and sisters, that a kafara, the way you undo it, is that you either seek forgiveness from the individual that you have made ghiba against, or if you can't, is that you make dua for him, or say good things about him behind his back, just like you used to say negative things about him behind his back. Say good things about him behind his back. And this is very important. So at least undo the mistake that you have been doing. So that's number one. Second thing is that Fudail ibn Iyad, he gave us a good cure. He said, من أراد أن يسلم من الغيبة, whoever want to be pure, or he want to cure himself from making غيبة, فليسد على باب الظنون. Let him close the door of doubt. فمن سد باب الظن سلم من التجسس. Whoever close the door of doubt, he would close also the door of spying. ومن سلم من التجسس سلم من الغيبة. And whoever was safe from spying on others, he would not make ghiba. So that's one thing, is that we close the door of doubting other people. It's not gonna Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Istanbu kathiran min al-dhanni inna ba'da al-dhanni ithm." Move away from doubting on other people. Because many times making ghiba it's a losing game. And also, it's important that when you are in a gathering, that one of the ways that you cure yourself is that you stop yourself from listening to it. Imam al-Nawawi, he said, اعلم أنه ينبغي لمن سمع الغيبة مسلم أن يردها ويزجر قائلها. He said it's an obligation for a Muslim, when he hear a ghiba, that he should stop the person who is saying it and tell him not to do it again. And this is something that's something that is important for us to stop, because we want to make our gathering a gathering of righteousness, a gathering of fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a gathering of not to be surrounded by angels, not a gathering where the shaitan, we are surrounded by Satans. The Salaf, people back then, he said, كانوا لم يسمع في مجلسه غيبة. Like people used to say, we used to have gatherings, and we would never ever hear anybody making backbiting about other people, you know. And this is important. And not only that, they used to be hard on themselves, not just not making riba. Even if they heard it, they used to punish themselves for hearing it, you know. And that's important, brothers and sisters, for us to account ourselves and make sure that we don't let these things go lightly. So it's important that and we would wonder why people sometimes they commit so many sins without them realizing. And that's one of the greatest doors, is the door of riba, a common sin that many people tend to belittle. So Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we talked about what is ghiba, and what is the reasons or why people make ghiba, and the cures of ghiba, and the punishments of ghiba, and in the dunya and hereafter. And also we talked about the cure. I hope that this is a beneficial lesson for everyone. Jazakumullah khair. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless all of you. جزاكم الله خير لحسن معكم. سبحانك وبحمدك نستغفرك ونتوب اليك. والعصر ان الانسان لفي خسر الا الذين عملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. جزاكم الله خير والسلام عليكم ورحمه الله وبركاته.